Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 products that have disappointed me so far in 2019, whether it's makeup or skincare. These are just products that I've tested out that have just not made the cut for me. Some of these were really terrible and some of these were okay, but they weren't what I expected them to be. Overall, these were just all disappointing products. Before I get started, I just want to say please don't get offended if I talk about a product or brand that you like. Of course, makeup and skincare works out differently for everyone. Everyone has different experiences, and I just want to share my experiences and my opinions on these products with you guys. So I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing this video, and let's just go ahead and get started. So some of these products I don't have anymore because I did just go ahead and return them. I didn't want them in my collection at all. I knew I never was going to use some of these again, so I don't have some of the physical products here to show you guys. So for those, I will just be popping a photo on a screen like I normally do. So the first disappointing product that I tried so far in 2019 is the Freeman apple cider vinegar face mask. I was so excited to try this because I know this Freeman face mask line is pretty popular. It is very affordable. I believe this mask was under $5 and you get a lot of product. It comes in so many different ranges depending on like your skin type. I really wanted to try the apple cider vinegar because I heard great things for it, like clearing your skin, kind of taking down some of the oiliness in your skin as well, and overall just cleansing it. It also had beads in there, so it doubled as an exfoliating cleanser. I felt like this was very harsh on the skin. It was an exfoliating cleanser, but I've never had an exfoliator actually hurt my skin when I was applying it. I found this to be very rough on the skin, and my skin actually started burning very quickly upon the application of this face mask. So I would say if you guys have a sensitive skin, I definitely would stay away from this one. I don't know if it was an ingredient or just the harshness in the actual product, but it hurt when I was applying it. It started burning pretty instantly, and it says that you leave the face mask on for like 5 to 10 minutes, and I couldn't even keep it on for the 5 minutes. It really was irritating my skin, and instantly upon removing the mask, my skin was red and I did get like a little rash and reaction a few hours later. So overall, this just wasn't an ideal face mask for me. I didn't even want to give it another try because I've genuinely never tried a face mask that was so painful. Like, I do have sensitive skin, but whenever I have sensitive skin, I usually get like a little rash after the fact, but I really felt like my skin was starting to flare up instantly upon application, and it was just very gritty and harsh. I don't recommend it. I think this one is just a little bit too harsh if you guys have sensitive skin. It did smell really good though. It had like that pure like juicy apple smell, so I did really like the scent. Again, the face masks are a great price. I'm wondering if maybe I would like something like a cucumber or the pomegranate. They have more of like those gel face masks that seem like they're going to be a little bit more gentle, a little bit more on the thin and cooling side, but my particular skin did not like the apple cider vinegar. The next disappointing product that I want to talk about here is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage 16-Hour Powder Foundation. This definitely wasn't the absolute worst product that I've ever tried, but it was a really big disappointment comparing it to the Liquid Superstay, which you guys know I absolutely love. That is one of my all-time favorite foundations, but this powder just did not live up to my expectations at all. If you guys want to see a full in-depth review as well as a comparison to the Liquid Superstay, definitely make sure to check out the card right here, and I also will have it linked down below if you guys want to go check it out after this video. But it just didn't live up to my expectations. Like I said, the Liquid Superstay is like my baby. Seriously, one of the best foundations I've ever tried, and the powder did not come close to being anything like that. So the first issue that I had with this is the shade range. It doesn't come in a lot of shades, and the shades are also very different from the liquid foundations. So comparing 120 in this to the 120 in the Liquid Superstay, which is what I typically wore at the time, this is easily like 3 or 4 shades lighter. Again, you guys will totally laugh at me if you go see the review. You could see how ghostly this powder made me look. So the color was really throwing me off. They do not match up with the foundations at all, so definitely keep that in mind if you guys are looking to get into this. I probably would grab like a 220 or like a 280, whatever they offer in this powder, because this is just super light. I don't know if you guys can see it on my middle finger right there. It is a lot lighter than the actual color of my face. Other than the color though, I just wasn't really impressed impressed with the formula. I'm not a huge powder foundation person to start off with, so that also could be a contributing factor, but I felt like this wasn't even close to full coverage. When I applied this, you could just tell that I had powder sitting on top of the skin. It didn't look flawless. My skin definitely looked dry and powdery. I felt like it was very easy to detect that this was an actual powder foundation, and it definitely wasn't full coverage. I had to do a lot of layers of this, and I still wasn't getting the coverage that I desired in this powder. So as an actual powder foundation, this was a flop for me. I did go ahead and try to use this as a setting powder on top of the Liquid Superstay, and again, it wasn't my favorite. I felt like it looked a little bit too heavy on top of the Liquid Superstay, and overall I just felt like it was a really detectable powder. And my last issue with this is that it wasn't really long lasting. It did rub off pretty quickly, so definitely not a 16-hour powder foundation from my experience. And I just found that whatever products I would put on top of this weren't as vibrant. My bronzer didn't look as bronzy, my blush faded very quickly, and my highlight was just very, very dull on top of this powder. So overall, not the greatest experience with this. I definitely don't absolutely hate it, but I don't find myself reaching for this, again, because of the color. The formula just wasn't what I expected it to be. But again, if you guys want to see all the details, all of the performance and a wear test and everything, definitely make sure to go check out my full review and comparison on this. This next product that I want to talk about is one that a lot of people love. So again, please don't hate me because I didn't like this product, but the Makeup Revolution liquid foundation was just not it for me, you guys. My skin looked absolutely terrible when I was wearing this foundation. I really wanted to love it because so many people in the community love it, and it looks so beautiful on other people's skin. It looks full coverage, it looks flawless, it looks like it has a little bit of like a healthy liveliness to it. On my skin personally, it could not have been more opposite. I found this foundation to be very heavy, very drying on the skin. Usually when I wear foundation, I'm really not able to detect it on my skin feeling wise. I could go throughout my day, I forget that I have foundation on, and my skin overall tends to stay very comfortable. But when I was wearing the Makeup Revolution foundation, my skin was so uncomfortable all day long. It felt really tight, like the foundation was just way too dry for me. Definitely one of the worst foundations that I've personally tried on my own skin. I just did not have any luck with it. And like I said, I really wanted to because I've heard great things. It's pretty affordable and I know a lot of people love it, but that one just was not for me. I did find though that this was one of those foundations that looked better on camera and was a really great foundation for photography and making videos, because from far away with these studio lights, I felt like it looked really nice on my skin. It was just really hard for me to wear it day to day. If you guys have sensitive skin and you've tried this foundation, please let me know if you guys had any sort of reaction to it. After I was testing out this foundation for a few days, I did get like a few bumps on the skin. I feel like my skin was just more heavily textured than normal and even itchy in some spots. I felt myself just wanting to scratch my face so badly when I wore this foundation. So overall, I'm not trying to drag Makeup Revolution through the mud because I love the version of the stick foundation. The stick foundation is so light and creamy and it does have really great coverage. Just to put a little bit of a positive spin on the foundation though, so I'm not standing here being negative forever, this foundation I found did have a really great shade range. I really was impressed by it, especially for being more of like a drugstore foundation. The shade range was really great, and I also do feel like if you guys are more on the oily skin side, you will really like this foundation because of the mattifying finish that it has. If you guys have been watching me for the past few months, and you know I've been absolutely loving a lot of Profusion products. I've really been loving their mattes palette, their eyebrow powder, their contour and blush palettes are phenomenal, but unfortunately one thing from them that just didn't work for me is their chocolates palette. I really wanted to love this palette so badly. When I bought this, I was like, this is going to be my go-to fall palette at the time. This is going to be beautiful and easy for day to day because there's just so many pretty color combinations in here. I love the greens. I just love that this is different from other palettes that I have here in my collection. But unfortunately, this one just didn't work for me at all compared to my mattes palette, which you guys know I love. The formula on the mattes palette is just so much better. These are just so much more creamy and more buttery and more pigmented right off the bat, where I feel like it takes me forever to get where I want to be when I use the chocolates palette. The mattes are just really patchy. They're not as pigmented, and I was the most disappointed in the shimmer shades, which is what this palette is mostly comprised of. If you guys want to see me put this palette to use, use, you could go ahead and check out my testing Profusion's cosmetics video. But other than that, I have put this palette to use off camera many times. I promise you guys, I really tried to make this work and I just don't like it. Again, the mattes just don't build up. They are nothing compared to the actual mattes palette. And then some of the ones that I've tried in here, shimmer and glitter wise, I did try Blitz, which is the more glittery chunky one in the palette. This shade was an absolute hot mess. It did not stick to the lid. And as far as some of the other shimmer shades go, these look really beautiful off of swatch, like they're going to perform so nicely. Do you guys see that? Like, these just look like they're going to perform so nicely, but unfortunately they don't pay off the same way on the lid. Whether I'm using my finger or whether I'm using my brush, I just cannot get a really nice look with these shadows. So I don't think I'm gonna be holding on to this palette. I'm probably going to declutter it when I do my next decluttering video because I just don't have a desire to use this. If you guys are looking into Profusion shadows, I highly recommend looking into their 10 pan eyeshadow palettes because there's just something about these that are beautiful. I really like these, and I personally would pick up every single one of these because these are only $5 each before I even thought about purchasing another one of their 21 shade palettes. And the final disappointing product might come as a little bit of a shock to you guys, but it is actually a Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder. I know, those are literally my favorite formula of highlighter. They are one of the best drugstore and high-end. I always rave about them here on my channel, but it actually didn't have anything to do with the formula. Like I said, the formula is always beautiful, but it was just the particular shade that I was very disappointed with. So the one that I tested out and it just didn't work for me was Bloom Time. I really thought that this one was going to work on me based on how it looked on other people. For example, I'm very similar in skin tone to Kathleen Lights. She's a little bit more warm than I am, but as far as like lightness goes, we are very similar in skin tone. So a lot of the stuff that works for Kathleen typically works for me. We are very similar in that way. And this highlighter looked beautiful on her. It was like a beautiful like rosy gold, but it looked light enough for her skin. You guys know how I get when I am so excited to try something, especially a new shade and something that I love already. I was so excited. I went to the store, I purchased the Bloom Time highlighter, and it was a disaster, you guys, on my skin tone. It's very comical looking back at it because it literally made me look so ridiculous when I put it on. Unfortunately, the highlighter was a little bit too dark for my skin tone. I don't know why, because like I said, I am so similar to Kathleen Lights and it looks beautiful on her. When I put on this highlighter, you guys, I literally had pink stripes going down the front of my face. I had to layer like 3 different highlighters on top just to get rid of the pink lines because I had to go out. Like, I was running late. I put on this highlighter thinking that it was gonna look beautiful, it was gonna look poppin', and I had pink stripes on my face. But if you guys want to know which Wet n Wild highlighters do work for me and which ones are my favorites, I have Golden Flower Crown, which is more of a light gold, Precious Petals, which is like a rose gold, but it's still light enough for my skin and looks beautiful, and then the lightest of them all, which I would say if you guys are really fair or if you want something super light and icy, that would be the shade Blossom Glow. Alright you guys, so that is going to complete this video. Those are 5 disappointing products that I've tried so far in 2019. If you guys want to continue to see videos like this, definitely let me know because I'm sure as the year goes on, I will try out some more products that just don't make the cut for me, that I don't like, or just don't live up to my expectations. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you'll get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!